Yes, well, this man beside me had a great day here last year with Romanised, Ken Condon, of course, and he's since followed up with a Group 1 placing, a fourth at Royal Ascot. He's a lovely horse. How's he been since Ascot, Ken?
He's been very good, Tracy. Yeah, he ran very well at Newbury in the Lockenge, fourth again, and I thought he stepped forward from that to be fourth again in the Queen Anne, and you might argue it looked a shade unlucky, but he's been very well since, and we're coming back a furlong, but it fits in well. We're hoping to go to Jacques Le Marois next in 3 weeks, so I just think the race fits in, and
just came at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. It's been 4 weeks since Ascot, so it would have been a long gap between Ascot to Deauville, so hopefully he runs well.
Obviously, you know, it's a very good race, but he's got all the right credentials.
Yeah, look, and he also doesn't have that Group 1 penalty, so things are in his favour. A little bit of rain overnight, but the ground is beautiful, so no excuses in that front. I think if there's nice solid pace in the race, that'll help, you know.
Very best of luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for talking to us. Thank you.
So let's have a look at the betting then. So hey, Gammon, 15-8 now alongside Romanised. So the money for last year's 2,000 guineas winner is coming in decent form. 7 different trainers have won this in the last 10 years, which I like to see. Good old spread, Jane.
We have a good old spread, and they're nearly all loaded. It's interesting to see what Richard Pugh thinks of this.
Jane, I had one bet at Royal Ascot and it was Romanised, so I am very well aware of the troubles that he got into throughout. So I hope for his sake Ken Condon's had a second with Crafty Madam here today, a third with Ice Cold and Alex. So his horses are absolutely on fire, and Romanised hasn't won since the Guineas last year. He's been running so well, as you said, in the Lockenge and at Ascot more recently. I'd like to see him win. Think Lord and Lord Byron is a big price. He's been running as I say in Stakes Company, but we're about to find out. They're often racing in the Paddy Power Minstrel Stakes, and Romanised slightly fluffed his lines out of the stalls as well, but has quickly recovered a good mid-division position. A Gammon got away smartly. He's prominent under Frankie, and now coming through on the near side, All the King's Men is going to take out the running for Shamey Heffernan. So All the King's Men goes on 2 to 3 lengths or so from Hey Gammon in second. The big grey Dunkirk Harbour is racing in third. Then North Wind towards the inside. Safe Voyage bidding for the 4-timer is next. Then Gordon Lord Byron on his 100th start. Romanised just behind, and they're being followed by Flight Risk, who's next. Towards the back, Mr. Lupton alongside San Andreas, continuing on up the straight now, making their way towards the crossover just outside the 3. And it is still All the King's Men with Hey Gammon getting closer. There's plenty of pace up front. They've opened up a 3 to 4 length lead over Dunkirk Harbour, who's next. Then Safe Voyage, Gordon Lord Byron. Romanised is just tucked in behind this group of 3. Over the far side, Yellow and Red Jacket of North Wind. Flight Risk is asked to pick up. So now All the King's Men is asked for maximum effort. Hey Gammon is close. Can they catch the gap next? Safe Voyage has done the donkey work. Romanised has the split now to try and come and close. Gordon Lord Byron's over on the near side. Hey Gammon goes for home under Frankie. Being chased home now by Romanised on the near side. Oh, he's got a clear run this time, and it's Hey Gammon and Romanised. Romanised sweeps through on the near side. Safe Voyage tries to come home well, but it's Romanised who has the advantage. Last year's Guineas winner is going to get back up in front here in the Minstrel Stakes. Romanised has done it for Ken Condon. Hey Gammon second. Safe Voyage third. Gordon Lord Byron back in 4 again. Flight Risk is next with Mr. Lupton, who came from behind. Dunkirk Harbour, All the King's Men, North Wind and San Andreas. Well, Romanised, we did say before the race that Ken Condon's horses were flying. We said that he'd been unlucky at Ascot, but this is his chance. He's got back to winning ways, and it's all roads now to France for him in mid-August.
Yeah, brilliant. How cool was Billy Lee, Ted Walsh?
Billy Lee rode this horse with loads of balls. They were in a right good gallop in front. The horse in front you knew was going to stop, but his main danger, Frankie, was sitting second, and Frankie, because the horse in front stops and then Frankie takes over. Billy is a good 5 or 6 behind the here. Now he needed a bit of splits. He needed Gordon Lord Byron to let him out, and he needed Safe Voice to stay where he was. Watch him come between the maroon colours there with the silver epaulets and the blue colours and yellow, blue and yellow there. He comes between the 2 of them. Now if they kept tight, Jane, he'd have to come around all 3 of them, but they separate. Frankie looks between his legs there to see what's behind him, and when Frankie gets to the 2, he presses the button, but it's a long ways down and they've gone a ferocious gallop. Billy Lee with the red sleeves is still travelling well. He just doesn't need that gap to close, and it doesn't, and now he's set sail. But Frankie has set sail for Frankie a good bit down, and Billy nails him in the last half a furlong.
Jane, were you surprised Frankie went as early as he did?
No, I thought he was happy throughout the race. He just got beaten on the day by a better horse. Romanised is a very good turn of foot, and Billy Lee is the ideal rider for a horse like that, because he'll utilise it at the right time. He gets there and he's not pulling away, but he used the turn of foot, the turn of speed at the opportune time. We were just saying at the very start of the programme, Frankie Dettori came over to Killarney and he's a top class, the best in the business, but Colin Keane beat him on a couple of occasions. Colin Keane and Billy Lee like absolute top drawer. We know it at this side of the Irish Ocean. You'd love to see if they got the opportunity on the top stage like Frankie Dettori does, because they have the ability.
And what was so impressive there was Billy just bided his time and he waited and he knew when to press that button head.
Yeah, well, I mean, he came out slow. As Richard Pugh said, he lost the kick a bit, which he did, and he got him up for the first half a furlong into a position. He probably would have liked, if he broke quicker, to be a couple of lengths closer and to have to save a bit of petrol. Did he use it a little bit the first 100 yards? But then he sat quiet and let it happen for him.
Billy Lee's with Andy.
Billy Lee.
Well done, William. That was a very taken performance.
Yeah, look, Andy, he's been running well all year. He was a little unlucky in Ascot. Just the gaps didn't open for him and he came home well. We were confident today. He's been good form at home, and he done it well.
I was speaking to Ken beforehand, and there was a little concern with a drop back for a furlong, but God, he showed a fierce amount of speed when you did ask him to quicken.
He does. He like probably a mile is the top end of what he'll go to. So, in an easy mile will suit him well, but he has plenty of pace and he's plenty of class. So,
Hey Gammon was a couple of lengths in front of you at halfway. Were you always happy?
Yeah, just early on it took him a few strides. He was a bit slow away and it took him a while to warm into the race, but we were always going to go gallop. And halfway when we crossed the junction I was a lot happier. And I knew I had him in my sight, and in fairness, when I gave him a squeeze he kicked into gear and away he went, and he's one pulling up. I think he's just doing enough in front.
Ken signalling there might be a trip to France and Curragh in a couple of weeks' time for the Prix Jacques Le Marois. You'll be up for that?
Yeah, you look forward to him. Hopefully come up on pace and he'll aim for that.
Thank you.
Yes, what a wonderful winner, and a relieved man beside me, and wow, it's good when something goes to plan, isn't it, Ken?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Tracy. He looked very impressive there, and Billy was very cool on him. Frankie's a dangerous man to give too much rope to in any race, but the horse was, I just thought when the gap came he quickened up lovely and ran to the line straight and through, so we're delighted with that.
Yeah, and all set to run the Jacques Le Marois now.
Oh, absolutely. That should, as I say, from beforehand, it fitted in lovely, and looking forward to it.
Well,
thanks.
Delighted for you, Ken. Well done.
Yeah, very popular winner, Jane, as you can see. I mean,
absolutely. Great satisfaction too for Monica Hearn, who bred this horse down at Prospect Stud. Billy Lee he's a very level man, a very level-headed guy. It stands to anybody in sport to have such good mentality, but he would have been disgusted with the way the race went into Queen Anne, and he'd take a lot of satisfaction from the way he rode him today, because he could have easily pressed the buttons early. He had a bad experience on him at Ascot. He could have said, geez, I don't want to give Frankie Dettori 5 lengths.
That's it.
But he rode him cold as ice, and that's a testament to a top class rider.
And it makes a difference. I don't care what anyone says, Ted Walsh. Does it not make a difference when you have someone like Frankie Dettori that's in front of you? The temptation is even greater then to react to that.
Well, you see, even with the golf all week long, the men that can operate on the big occasions when the gun is to his head. He's riding the giant favourite there in a group race and everything else, and he still rides them as he should ride them. He's not influenced by the fact that other people are intimidating him. He's not intimidated by Frankie or intimidated by anything else. There's the Condon family all there together. He's a lovely fella, Billy, and a grand fella as well too. Pauline, Ken's wife there, and the two little girls there, Emily and Olivia. Great for all of them. Ken has made a big investment there, and he bought the late Desi Hughes' yard down there, just not too far from here. And he's a young man, he's a brilliant young trainer, and Pauline's a great assistant when she was a fine rider herself, Pauline Ryan, and they're a great combination, and may they have many years at it.
Yeah, brilliant to see, I have to say, and all systems go now for France. You certainly wouldn't back against them. Let's have a look at the race then, back from the start here. As he said, just missed the kick slightly.
Yeah, Justin, you get yourself in the wrong place. He'd like to have come out smart and not to have to use him. But he's happy enough there. He's boodles at pace, this horse. He travelled well. He's behind the grey horse there, Ryan Moore. On his outside is Chris Hayes. On his inside is Jason Hart and John Quinn's horse. Now he's just a nice bit back. He's a good 5 lengths behind Frankie there or more. And the horse in front now, you're not worried about him because he's gone a real good gallop. He's not good enough. But your main danger is 4 or 5 lengths in front of you. And Billy is dead confident where he is. But as he said himself, he just needs things to happen. If Chris Hayes was good enough and rolled in and Gordon Lord Byron, at this stage he could change his mind. He could slip out, but Kevin Manning isn't going to let him out either. So, but things have to happen for Gordon Lord Byron in the blue and yellow sleeves. He drops away. Jason Hart moves a little bit right over towards the grey horse there, and all of a sudden a nice gap comes, and he's loads of boot. It's like driving a good car, half an inch you're gone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Looks like he's loving it. Like.
Yeah, loving it is right, you know what I mean? Now, in fairness to the horse that Jason Hart is riding there, he's come home like a train as well. As Billy said, he thinks just a mile it would be the maximum. This is 7 today, but I wouldn't want to see him going much further than that.
Okay, let's go to Brian Gleeson. So, presentation, the winners of our 5th race, the Paddy Power Minstrel Stakes, and it's Dean Finn of Paddy Power to present the trophy. And the winning connection's a very popular winner, Romanised, and Billy Lee, well, he can afford to smile. Fantastic ride, cool as you like, and plenty were on Romanised, I can tell you.